Welcome. I'm John Canopener.
And I'm James Wang.
And together we are Rock Hard. And what we're going to do today is we're doing a little extension of that last video that we just put out. The last video we just put out about Roman and Kincaid.
Mark.
Two very important people in this film, and you should pay more attention to them. We're going to tell you why right now. One, I think Roman is one of the most underlooked killers I've seen in this franchise.
Yeah, I think he's very underrated, and I think people give him a lot of shit.
Underlooked? Maybe overlooked was the word, but yeah, you get it.
He's very underrated.
Underrated as a motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
Because we all know the story with Scream 3. We all know that it was hacked to shit because they had to change it up because of Columbine. So in this version, they had to come up with some kind of idea that was going to make it worth watching, that was going to still give a powerful punch to the audience. And they went with Roman. Roman, a brother, hidden away. Mom slammed the door in his face. He wanted revenge. He set up the events at the first one. He guided Billy, told Billy exactly what to do. And if you notice, just like we said in our last video, there's a lot of similarities between Billy and Billy and Roman. A lot of similarities. And I wonder why. It's pretty genius writing if you think of it. But if you just look at it in movie way, it's pretty badass how Roman figured all this shit out and directed everything up to this point. He had nothing to do with Scream 2. The events of Scream 2, nothing. But as far as guiding Billy, telling him exactly what to do, him directing his own movie, this is all one big movie. I think he nailed it.
After rewatching this movie so many times, you just gain so much appreciation for Roman. Even though he is a solo Ghostface killer,
yeah, he did it all on his own.
So we think he did it all on his own. It's still pretty impressive. Man set up everything. He had a plan. As a director, he set up he's a director. He directs. That's his own quote.
I'm a director. I direct.
Exactly. I just can't help but love the guy. He's going up on the ranks when it comes to ghost faces because he's just super impressive.
Even how clever he was in certain parts, like when with the like Oscar looking thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I'm next. And Dewey's like, why would you be next? And he was like, you don't think this was a sign?
The head falling off because Sarah fucked it up? Yeah.
Yeah. You don't think this is like a hint, bitch? Like, the head's on. He even set that up.
And it wasn't even planned. It just happened and he just fucking went with it.
I think he did plan it.
You think he fucked up his own trophy?
I think so.
A little stretchy, but I
don't know how far his conniving mind goes, but...
Hey, but if that's planned, even more impressive.
Well, you can tell his planning is really good because he used his own birthday as the final act of the movie.
I did not know that, actually.
His own birthday happens at the head honcho's fucking mansion. What better time to have a final act than on your birthday? The day that Maureen Prescott gave birth to you, you're going to have this final showdown with your daughter. Very poetic, very directorish.
Very directorish. That is actually, yeah, again.
That's what I'm saying. The thought that goes into his whole thing is fucking genius.
If you can't tell, this video is going to be nothing but us fanboying over Roman because he is very impressive.
And I feel like he's just overlooked. He's
underrated.
He's overlooked so much that people they relate him to Scream 3 so much that you just totally forget about that brother thing or whatever.
But it's the brother and sister thing that actually makes sense. His motive makes sense. Like everything, his reasoning behind everything makes sense. And
you gotta give credit for coming up on the fly. That. Like Kevin Williamson had his whole thing, all 3 movies written out.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. So you get to the third one, it's like, no, we can't do any of that shit. And yes, okay, so rewrite the movie? Okay, cool. All right, what am I going to do? And then he goes and comes up with this, and yeah, it's impressive because as many things, like we mentioned in the last video, all the callbacks, all the nods to the first one, even a couple to the second one, but as many as there are to the first one, like you had to go that route. Like, it just made too much sense not to go that route. Like, you had to have someone that had some beef, that had to have some kind of quarrel with Sydney.
Yeah.
I mean, and how else are you going to do that without bringing out someone important, someone that's blood related? I don't like it as much as I like Stu coming back, but we get what we get, and I think what they did with it, it's super impressive.
Yeah.
Super impressive. Not only that, but he's like, I made my own family, a little family film. Little family film. He's the one that filmed Maureen Prescott with Cotton and Billy's dad.
Yep.
He showed the footage on that little fucking, whatever, that backdrop that he had in that little place where they had the final act.
Yep.
I think that was that the theater where they fucked his mom?
Like the little hidden theater, like the little, like, yeah, like some sort of like
That must have been the
hidden room or something where
Yeah.
the party's held or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then he has some really badass lines.
He has some fucking awesome one-liners.
Some great lines. When the head honcho of the studio, he has him, knife point to his head, and he's telling Sydney, trying to convince her that, like, look, this is the reason why Maureen became a slut. They fucked her 3 ways from Sunday in here. 3 ways.
3 ways.
3 holes, 3 ways.
God damn.
But they did. So he's trying to put it on him. And then that she just snapped. You know what I mean? And then he puts the knife up to the guy's throat.
And he's like telling him, like you don't have to do this. I can give you, name what you want.
Name what you want. Any budget, any film. Final cut. Already have it. Done, son.
God.
He has some of the coolest fucking lines. Not only that one, but then again in the final act, Kincaid's knocked out on the floor. He sees his little gay gun there, and he picks it up. Sydney thinks she has the upper hand. She'll lose something with the knife. And he's like, no. Found something. Bam! Blast her ass. Sick line.
Again, I'm trying to recall the last 2 movies, and so far none of those people have some good one-liners like Roman did.
Yeah. I guess Billy kind of had one that was like stolen from Psycho. We all go a little crazy sometimes. A little bit, but it's kind of stolen. And then I don't know. I guess there's not one in Scream 2.
Oh yeah, I feel like this one. Definitely has some memorable like one-liners.
Just the kind of guy you'd bring to mom if you had a mom. Yeah. And then we already mentioned this in the last video, but I thought it's worth bringing up, is how he gets questioned just like Billy. Like, it's almost verbatim what happens. You know what I mean? He wants to get caught, just like Billy wanted to get caught. And how did Billy figure that fucking shit out? Because Roman told him
Yeah.
how to do that. He said, have a fall guy, have a partner that you can rat out, just in case you get caught.
Stu.
You know? Yeah, just plan everything. Meticulous, like a director. And I feel like that's kind of what you need in this, because as much as this relates to so many movies, what better way to wrap it up than a big shebang with a director, like someone that's actually making a movie about the movie he already made. It's fucking cool. It's cool. And to come up with that on the fly, like that's a big fucking deal. But was he working alone? There's a lot of things, and they're not just red herrings. I believe, James believes, Mark had a little something to do with this.
Mocky mock.
Mark. Either he was a secret killer and had a change of heart at the mansion when he first shows up to the scene and fucking Roman pops out, tries to stab Sid. He ends up pushing Sid out of the way and taking the stab out of nowhere. And maybe that was a real fight between Roman and Kincaid.
Oh, it definitely looked like a real fight.
Maybe it was like, Roman's like, you motherfucker, dude, we've been working together this whole fucking time. What are you doing? But the reason we think Kincaid is part of it is because, one, he grew up in fucking Hollywood. He said he knew the studio very
he was
well.
Born there, and
He's
he
born
knows
there.
the way around.
I know my way around the studio. 2, when Roman gets taken in for questioning. You guys remember this? He asks for Dewey's phone. He says, "Oh, my battery's dead. Do you have a phone?" He gets Dewey's phone. Right after that, Sydney gets a call at her house.
Like the next scene.
Who else would know that fucking number? How else would he get that number? Dewey's phone memory. Okay. Then we also have, let me backtrack a little bit. We think Kincaid was somewhat obsessed with Maureen. This is a theory in progress, by the way. We're not 100% on this, but we think it's clever, and we think you guys should know about it, and we'd like to hear your thoughts on it, and maybe you could add a little something to this. But if Kincaid was a killer, we think it's because he might have been obsessed with Maureen Prescott back in the day. Just like Roman was obsessed with finding his mom. Because at the time when Kincaid was a kid, he might have seen those movies that Maureen was in. Mm-hmm. Might have, if he knew his way around a set, maybe he was on the set when he was a kid. Maybe he got some kind of like, I don't know, some kind of like tour of the fucking place or something like that, to where he can see these bitches fucking film. And maybe he got a little horny for her.
And what did he do?
He went after the next best thing, my friend. The next best thing is Sydney Prescott. He wants Sydney. He loves her. He's obsessed with her. He knew a lot more about her, and he was so crazy about finding her that it almost makes it seem like it wasn't just detective work. And then, after she does show up, he's so fucking anal about fucking getting this bitch, right?
Yeah.
I need her here. I need to. Where's Sydney? Where's Sydney? Where's Sydney?
Like
where's
asking
Sydney?
him, fucking asking.
As soon as they find Sydney, and she's like, "I want to go see what this stuff where these pictures are taken," then okay, he takes off. Why would you take off? You wanted her this whole time.
Leaves. Like,
and his little detective partner comes up and says, "You're gonna go get that girl chocolates and flowers, or candy and flowers, aren't you?"
Detective
like,
J. Wallace.
Fucking leave me alone. Whatever. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So you already see that Mark has a little something for Sydney, besides flowers and candy. His dick. The same dick that he used to jack off to Maureen Prescott. I'm telling
Confirmed.
you. He used to jack off to her, and now he wants to jack off in. But he's obsessed in a different way. So that's why we're saying we can look at this two different ways, okay? One, he was a killer. He helped Roman. You always need a cop on the end. You need somebody to get the info on where people are and stuff. Who better than somebody that can actually get real people and to find out where this person is?
And to cover tracks or something, just to help. Like, what better than a police officer? Someone that actually solves crimes.
Not just a police officer, a detective.
A homicide detective.
In Hollywood that works on these sets. It almost feels like the police department is a part of the studio. Like it's its own separate thing.
For real, right?
It almost seems like, is that a thing? Are there like their own police departments?
I mean, they have them at malls. They have like malls. They have like a little police precinct.
Yeah, it's weird.
I mean, I wouldn't.
We might be sounding really stupid right now, but there might be.
There might be, yeah.
But yeah, who better to have than a detective to not only cover your tracks, but to help you find where the fuck this thing is to complete your movie.
Yeah.
You know? And, okay, so maybe he was obsessed and just wanted to get with Sid. But at the same time, he still has that obsession, wants to get with Sid, but in a slightly less gross way, and just has a change of heart. Maybe he went along with the plan all along, and was at that moment, he decided, I'm going to push this motherfucker out of the way, I'm going to get stabbed because this is wrong. Or he could have thought all along that he was trying to protect Sydney. Maybe Roman approached him and was like, I got this idea, blah, blah, blah. Some people he let some people die just to protect Sydney because he was still in love with her, even though he's never met the bitch. And he still got her because, as we find out later on, they're married.
And have kids.
So, I think, and we're going to just bullshit, we think that in Scream 7, since this whole firing of Melissa Barrera, the whole cast, Jenna Ortega being gone, Nev Campbell willing to come back for the right price, directors fucking falling out, we think that a cool story, one that would wrap this up or at least make sense, if they pulled it, I Know What You Did Last Summer on Scream 7.
I think that would be like a perfect way to end everything.
Somebody from the past knows that Mark was a secret killer, at least an accomplice in Roman's whole thing. I know for a fact that you guys are going to comment down saying that, well, actually, Angelina was the other killer, the second killer. But we're not doing that right now. Okay,
No,
just
fuck that shit.
let that shit go for a second. Let's go with Mark. Let's just act like this is real, and let's just go with Mark. Okay. So if Mark was a secret killer this whole time and he got away with it, let's say that he really did it to protect Sydney. Doesn't matter. He was still an accomplice. He still needs to burn. Somebody knows. He gets a call saying, hey, motherfucker, I know who you are. Everybody's going to know who you are unless you give me Sydney.
I would watch that. If this is something
That's his wife now.
Yeah, if this is something that ended all, like if Scream 7 is going to be the last fucking movie, like in this whole lineup, like canon-wise, I feel like they should go out fucking a bang.
You don't need that many people. It could be a secluded story.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, and let's say her kids, I would say you start Scream 7 with
Neil. Yeah.
We're going to do what we should have done in Scream 3, and we're going to kill Neil.
Opening scene,
stakes are high. Neil. You don't even need Gail in this. If you want Gail, fine. But this could really just be a secluded story with Sydney and Mark. Okay, Mark gets a call saying that, hey, bitch, I know you're a killer. I know you at least helped Roman, and I'm going to let the world know unless you give me Sydney and let me know where she is. And that person could be Stu. Fucking Mocker.
Hell yeah.
If you want to bring back Stu, he would know. He would know a little bit.
He would. I mean, I feel like he would be more on the end.
You can show something. You can show a little something like, oh, Roman finally did his movie. Oh, okay. And then maybe Kincaid interviewed him or something like that. Maybe Kincaid wants some info from Stu to see how this shit happened. You can see some kind of flashback to him in jail or something. Have him coming out. Because, dude, you can. As Stu was an accomplice. He murdered people for sure.
Oh yeah.
But you can get 30 to life or 20 to life or something. You can get out early on good behavior.
Oh, for sure, yeah, you can.
And it's about around that time where you could push that if you wanted to. You don't have to do this whole thing to where fucking it's a fake death. Or
I mean, from 96 until 24.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like that's plenty enough time of good behavior.
There's people that get let out.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he could totally get let out because Billy was the mastermind all along anyway. So he could have done that peer pressure bullshit, and they could have been like, okay, times are different now. We're gonna fucking relook at your case, and yeah, okay, you can get out, but you have to stay clear of everything, of Sydney, of everybody, blah 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 blah. But he doesn't.
Comes back for one more scare.
And he's blackmailing Mark. That's the biggest thing here, is that he's blackmailing Mark. So you almost get like a different kind of Scream reveal, because you'll get Stu, you'll get what you want. Okay, everybody shut up. And then you'll also get a reveal that you'd never seen before, because it's a reveal, but it was a reveal to Sydney from Mark saying that, yeah, I'm your husband, and I did help Roman, but I love you. You know what I mean? I did it to protect you. It's different.
Come on, it's me, baby. Come on.
It's me, baby.
It's me. Come on.
It's Mark Kincaid. What's up, man? Shit. We thought that was worth mentioning. We think it's fun. And if you guys want to add to this theory, or if you think you have some other ideas that we haven't thought of for what could happen in Scream 7, because right now the cast is fucked.
Everything's so fucked right now. It's a movie.
Everything's fucked. I heard rumblings of a new director. We know the guy from Freaky Friday and shit. He just dropped out. So now Christopher Lambert, I think is his name, or Landon. I don't know. I forget his name. But anyway, he dropped out, and yeah, there's talks that there's already a new director, but we don't know shit about the cast, if there's anything written yet, anything. But if you need an idea, yeah, if you need something to wrap this up and you can't use those people, let's do this. Let's do this.
Let's start something.
Let's do it. All right. So for that, I think we're going to wrap this up. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And like I said, if you guys have anything else you want to add, please let us know in the comments below. And this is Rock Hard.